So let's talk about what is happening tomorrow in the newsletter. And that's what I'm actually working on right now. Friday is always my newsletter day. So I'm always going to be busy. So probably would not be doing this normally on Friday. So I'm not opposed to doing this live on Friday. And hello, everybody who just joined. But tomorrow, May is talking all about marketing your books um, without meltdown. So I am opening everything up right now, and I will tell you exactly what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So yeah, May is book marketing without burnout. And so last week we talked about authentic marketing without the meltdown. And I went through why marketing isn't a chore. We just need to reframe it. It doesn't have to be soul crushing. We perceive it as scammy. It's we think that we're trying to sell something people don't want. But ethical marketing, which is what we're talking about this month, how to do this ethically, is simply addressing somebody's needs. If you have a doctor and you're sick and the doctor fixes your being sick, do we feel like he's scammy that he told us that he could fix our illness? No. And then we happily give him the money. Sometimes it feels like a little too much money, but we're not going to go into that. If your car is broken or if you need groceries and you go to the store and somebody says, I can fix your car or I can give you groceries, that's not scammy. So why is it scammy when we are selling books to readers, people who want to read? And I'm a reader. When I go to the bookstore and somebody says, oh, I've got a great new book that I think you'll enjoy, I never think of that as scammy. I think, thank you. You are doing a service for me because I am here to find books to read and you're telling me about a great book to read. So this is the reframe that I want you to get, is that you're not scammy by selling your book. Maybe if you are in the doctor's office and people are sick and you're, trying to convince them to buy your book, sure. But if you're literally talking to people about the story that you love, this work of art that you have done so much for, and you're just saying, I have this, and you're a reader and you want to be entertained and you want this information, whatever it is, it's not scammy. That's offering apple pie to hungry people. They're grateful and they're happy. We're just offering books to hungry brains. So that's what I hope you got out of this last week. Now that's the last week's post, going along with the theme of ethical marketing. Hey Jeff, thanks for joining. So that's branding. That's aligned marketing. Is also what we're talking about this month, which is I am not a supermodel. I don't want to be a supermodel. It's way too much work. But if I put that on myself, then all of my branding is going to come out fake because I am not a makeup person. I will not spend a bunch of time. So I wear a hat. Will not spend a bunch of time doing my hair. And so any branding or marketing that I try to do where I presented myself, that's not going to work. And I totally get you, Jeff. We've been talking about why we're all leaving Facebook and other social medias this month because which you know what? Thank you, Jeff. That's actually an excellent segue into what is going to be talked about tomorrow. So wrapping up what we talked about last week for the live that I missed. We're reframing this month our idea of what marketing is, our idea of what selling our book is to people. Reframing the whole thing. We are simply solving needs and wants and desires, and that is not scammy. So get that out of your mind. 3 things. You can read this in the post from last week, and then thanks to Jeff's perfect segue, I'm going to go on to tomorrow. What's going to happen tomorrow? But 3 things I want you to remember about ethical marketing, which is what we're talking about this month, is simply marketing is serving. It's not selling out. And I'm now reading last week's post, so you can go there and read this yourself. Marketing ethically means you're genuinely addressing somebody's needs and not trying to trick people into buying something they don't need. Readers need books, authors have books. Win win. So, the second thing I want you to remember is to silence your inner imposter. The only difference between you and an author that confidently markets themselves is that they have learned to quiet their inner doubts. Marketing confidently is about believing and ensuring that your work has genuine value. So we're going to be professional, right? We're editing our work, we're getting good covers, we're doing all the work to make this a good product. So there's no reason that we have to be ashamed to tell somebody about it and see if they want to buy it. And then the third thing I want you to remember from last week's takeaway, align your marketing with your authentic self. You're not going to put on stilettos to go hiking. It's not going to work. And you're, by the same token, not going to wear hiking boots to go clubbing. And is also probably not going to work. So it's not that one is better than the other or one is wrong. It's just, where does it belong? What is natural and what fits? And so if you align your marketing with your authentic self, then your marketing will feel like an extension of your creativity. You're a creative person. Marketing is creative, and it's not a separate and uncomfortable task. And so you can choose strategies that align with your strengths and values, and it turns your promotion into something that's unpleasant and you don't enjoy it, to something that is joyful and extending that creative process. So, and then we have the download, which is aligned marketing style mini workbook and quiz. It's a little quiz I came up with that helps you define what is your marketing style. Are you a stilettos or are you a hiking boot? Like I said, both are fine. I'm a hiking boot. So, and that will help you define that. And then there's also a bunch of exercises to help you put that, whatever you discover about yourself, into practice. But now let's get into next week because I promised a sneak peek. And honestly, maybe this does work good to do it on Friday night, except that I'm also trying to get the newsletter done for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I can actually give you the sneak peek. This is what it looks like. We're going to be talking about simplify your author marketing. So we have been talking about doing it ethically, reframing our mindset. That was first week. Second week is going to be talking about how you can do this with one stomp, basically. And I'm going to give you a hint. It's Substack. Okay. You're already here. And we're going to talk about digital serfdom. So I'll give you a little hint about what's been written because I'm still writing it. Talk about rethinking, reframed our marketing. Now we're going to rethink our digital serfdom. When Zuckerberg began Facebook back in 2004, it was called social networking. That's what everybody called it. But by 2007, Facebook launched paid advertising and began using the term social media. And social media may seem like a good place to advertise your book. See why it's such a good segue for Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Social media may seem like a good place to advertise your book, but content from creators that isn't boosted through paid ads gets fewer views. We know this. Sometimes it's hidden, it's suppressed. It's called ghosting. But if you do not pay for advertising on social media, you don't get the clicks, the likes, or the conversions. And so social media platforms actively are fighting to keep people from clicking your book links. They are incentivized to keep people from leaving their platforms. They want people to stay on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, or well, whatever we call it now. They want people to stay on those social medias and keep scrolling because that makes money for their ads. This is why I call this digital serfdom. Because do you remember medieval serfdom? Peasants worked land owned by lords, and they gave them labor, produce, and loyalty in exchange for basic protection and limited rights. Now we have digital serfdom, and it's very similar. Users generate content and data on platforms owned by corporations, and we receive a minimal benefit and minimal control, while the companies profit extensively from our labor and attention. So, many medieval serfs left. They fled their lands seeking freedom. And that is what we're doing now. A lot of us are leaving Facebook and the other platforms so that we can control our content and we can also get paid for our content. We can benefit from our content. If I share a book link, I want you to be able to click my book, not have some digital platform decide to hide it because I didn't pay for them to boost it. So, tomorrow's post is going to be talking about what is the simplest way to do that. If social media does not sell our stuff, and if social media is not good for growth unless we are paying, then what do we have? I'm going to tell you, spoiler alert, it's Substack. Substack has been amazing, and I'm going to talk about it more in tomorrow's post. But Substack can replace your digital home, and that is what I'm doing. I'm making it my website. I don't know why that was such a hard word for me to think of. It's also your email list. We always hear about your email list. You can do something like uh, ConvertKit or MailerLite. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can also combine your social media home, your website, with your email list. Your social media can then be turned to promoting that, but like minimal effort on the social media. And I have some things to talk about for that that I have learned recently, and an experiment that I'm finishing up right now on social media. And that will be reported tomorrow. And then the other tool that I would say to go with Substack is Canva. And you can use whatever you want, for your images, but Canva makes it amazing and easy, and it's free. I do pay for Canva, but you can use it for free and get all the benefits. So, what I'm going to tell you to ditch tomorrow, what we're going to talk about ditching is complex ads. The ads are great. You can make a lot with the ads, but they are very complicated and they are expensive. And so, at first, we're just going to get that platform down. We're just going to get our stuff to be seen by people, and then we can start talking about ads. We're going to talk about ditching platform overload. I love platform overload, mostly because I use it for experiments. I have 12 or 13 social medias that I can post to, and I was posting to for different experiments. I'm down to 5 that I regularly post to, but they all aim to the basket of my Substack. And that has been fantastic. And the other thing that we're going to ditch and not pay attention to anymore is those costly all-in-one type solutions, the false promises, the I will show you how to get 1 million subscribers in 2 weeks kind of promises. You don't need that. And Substack is free, and you can just get going with it. So that is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow in tomorrow's post, as well as all the author opportunities, which is why we're called Authortunities. And there will be a digital download that will be $888 for my free subscribers who I love. I love every single one of you. But as a benefit to my supporters, which is important that I give something back, that download will be free in the paid subscriber section. And you get to hear it first. I also just put in a discount for the subscriptions because everything's going up. All the prices are going up. Everything is getting so expensive. So I've put in a discount. It's 10% discount just to try to help out. I also need to buy groceries. So it's not a huge discount, but it's something. And right now, I feel like anything we can do anywhere at any time is good. So that is what you're going to find tomorrow at 8:08 my time. I don't know what time that is for you, but it's 8:08 my time every Saturday morning. And I don't know what I'll do with the lives. Maybe I'll keep doing it on Friday and do kind of a recap of last week and a talking about what's happening tomorrow, but I tend to try to not do anything on Friday night because I'm trying to get the newsletter going. So we'll find out. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you think Sunday, when I was having the Substack Live, is good, or do you like Friday night and getting kind of a recap / preview of what's coming out tomorrow morning? Let me know in the comments. Right now, I'm planning on seeing you again Sunday for a live. I try to never email this to my subscribers, so you do have to tune in because I don't want to inundate everybody with email because I have way too much email myself. And yeah, I can't think of anything else. That's the business. Oh, and enjoy the discount. And I hope it helps because right now something got to help, right? So see you tomorrow. And for the rest of May, we will be continuing to talk about book marketing without, maybe we'll say with a minimal pain. And if I look distracted, that's because I'm actually trying to call up my schedule for the whole month. Because while I'm here doing previews, I can just tell you what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the month. So last week we talked about authentic marketing without the meltdown. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to simplify our author marketing. Then the next week we're going to talk about how to stop posting into the void that resonates with readers. This is something I have recently done in April and it's made a huge difference. And we're going to finish how to be visible without burning out. So sustainable strategies for showing up authentically. And that is kind of the point of all of this is real the person, your authentic self. That is not it's not going to take that much time away from what you're doing because do we want to write books or do we want to write marketing copy? I want to write books. That's why I have to be careful with what I'm doing. But on that note, I'm going to let you go because in 6 minutes, I have two people to talk to about their books. And eventually, I want to start getting some of the coaches in the coaching program on here so they can talk about what they're doing. And if you guys have questions about anything at all with your books, let me know. Leave them in the chat. I send them to me. Leave them in comments, and I will try to answer all those. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for showing up. Sorry I missed it on Sunday. Better late than never. See you later.